We have Bryce Donaldson.
Hey guys. So, um, you say to open up with like a shock factor. And that first word I was thinking of was that I failed as doing my part as the body. And we all fail at things constantly, doing our part and everything. So I'm not hung up on it or anything. But that is kind of how what God's doing in my life begun. Um, so I'll just go through things chronologically. Um, I was asked, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago or so, first time I was asked. I think it was before we were doing this "What's God doing in your life" thing, to speak. And I always, every time I'm asked that question, it's always a reluctant yes. It's always, sure. And I say yes because I know I'm supposed to say yes. And so I do what anyone does. I would hope. Talk with God. Just talk with God. You know, what am I supposed to talk about? What do you want people to hear? What do you want them? What am I doing? And it was silence. It was quiet all the way up until I think, well, it's still quiet. And Sunday rolled around. It might even been Monday morning, because a lot of times I'll wait till last minute, because sometimes God's just last minute. And I was just like, I got nothing. So I backed out. I said, I just don't have anything, and I'm not hearing anything. And often when I pray in a way where if I don't hear anything, I don't say anything, which I don't think is right. That's another lesson I'm learning, but because I just want to be in alignment with His kingdom. And so it was the same thing where it's like I didn't hear anything, so I didn't feel like I should say anything because I wasn't hearing anything. So I backed out of that. Months go by. We start doing this. What's God doing in your life? And Tim actually ended up going on vacation. So it was like, we got a spot open. You want to take it? And the same thing. I had a reluctant, sure. Same exact thing happened. Prayed all week. Took some time. And then it was on, I think this one was on a Sunday when I said I couldn't do it. But then I started getting hammered. The enemy just started attacking me. It was my identity, my value. Was hitting me pretty hard. To the point where it was on a Monday actually. Yeah, it was on Monday. I didn't even end up coming. Give me that box. Because I was a wreck. Like a total wreck. Like, you think I cry a lot here, man. I was wailing. So I was crying downstairs, and so I'm like, I'm going to go to my room. I close my door. I get in there. I close my door. This is after I already called my wife. I close my door, and I just let out this big old cry, and my daughter's in my bathroom doing her hair. She's like, "You okay?" And I lied to her and said yes. But yeah, I was attacked hard. Anyways, I have the next day I go to Tuesday morning Bible Hub. The Bible Hub for those of you. And my mother and my adopted mother both ended up praying over me immediately after the Bible Hub. We normally meet and pray over the city and county and stuff, but it was pray over me time. And immediately was released of some things. I had to have kind of a holy smack in a way. And that helped out tremendously. And so then it kind of just got brushed off, which I still knew I was going to have my turn. I just still I didn't know what to do, and honestly, I still don't. But I think it was the next Tuesday. God pops into my mind sometimes these just like revelation, and it just like blurts out of me. And it was about control and about how most of us are addicted to control in some way or shape or form, and that we find comfort in that. And do you find the comfort in your control, or do you find comfort in his control? And God showed me some ways of how I'm very comfortable in my control. I don't know if any of you have ever played a sport and maybe you're really good at it. Or fixing cars, it could be anything, cooking. I was really good at my job I did at Abla Canyon. I was an alarm station operator. Which means if there was ever an attack on the plant, I'm the one who laid out and made sure everybody knew where the enemy was, communication, cameras, all that stuff. A very high stress job. And I was good at it because, I was good at it for numerous reasons. I could shoot, move, communicate, for lack of a better term, but it was, if anything were to ever happen, I wanted to be in that seat. I didn't feel comfortable with anyone else in that seat. I wanted to be in that seat because I felt comfort in my control of that situation. Just like a quarterback wants to be the one pulling in, on the game-winning snap. That was me in control of me, and I felt comfort in that. Well, when I wasn't receiving anything to speak on, I had no control. Lost it all completely, none whatsoever. I didn't have a game plan, I didn't have anything. And the whole point was to step forward anyways. Yeah, so this is me stepping. But so later on that Friday, we had a worship meeting, and God showed me a picture. Often after we worship, we ask if anybody got anything, anybody saw anything, and I think I started off in like some weird portal thing. God gave me this vision of creation. He took me back to creation, where the sun became formed, the earth came formed. I saw trees shooting out of the ground. I saw all of this happening very quickly. And then he took me down to the smallest things, like each individual cell. All the creatures that rely on him regularly, like everything. And then he kind of pointed out how his brilliance. That was another revelation I recently had, that God likes showing off how awesome he is. But he was doing that to me. He was showing off how amazing he is in his creation, on how everything he had to be, everything on this earth had to be just right in order for life to be sustained. He showed me from how our cells and our bodies, our central nervous system, our brains, everything was specifically and perfectly designed for us to have life. And then he started working out bigger about how everything from how much salt is in the ocean to how much, all of it, from how close the moon is, how big the moon is, in order to run our tides, exactly how far we are from the sun, the other planets in our solar system that have to exist in order to absorb asteroids, and exactly how big everything he did who had a purpose for our life to be sustained. And it was huge. And then he smacked me with this, and you have the audacity to have preconceived ideas of how my gifts and my promises should lay out. Oh, that buzz hurt good. It was just a real humbling. At first, I didn't even realize it was necessarily so pointed at me. And then I started thinking about these times I said no. I don't know. I don't know exactly what everything's going to look like. I don't know what he's going to do from day to day, but I do know that I'm supposed to step forward. I do know that he's going to take care of me. I do know that if he says step and I don't step, something's being missed. Not only in somebody else, but in myself as well. And that is where I apologize for my failure, for not being part of the body the way I'm called to be part of the body. But I'm getting better. Because I think the body, God showed me this earlier this week, I think the body is going to be operating in a much more advanced role. I don't see the days of a speaker coming up here, and we all sit here and watch to see what's God going to do through this person. I don't think those days are going to be happening much more anymore. I see the days of us getting together. Maureen stands up and says, does somebody's left elbow hurt? Just right out of her chair right there. Calls up somebody, it has instant healing because the body starts acting like a body and not a spectator. That prophecy starts happening out there regularly. Because y'all are anointed. You all are commissioned. And you all are called to step forward regardless of how you feel about the circumstances. It all comes from that place of submitting. I don't need control of this situation anymore. No matter how good or bad or whatever I am, it doesn't matter. None of that matters. As I learned last week, I need to start asking the right questions. And that hit me good. That was solid. The best question you can ask is, what question should I ask? That is, once again, taking me out of control of the situation. I'm asking the questions I want to hear the answer to. Well, that's me. That was a great word, Tim. Thank you. But that's me. That's what God's been doing in my life. I don't really know all about that vision, but I can share it. Still working that one out. Last Friday, I had a vision of, I was looking up at a blue sky, and I saw 5 angels converse together, just like this, like one point, right where the X is, but that was in the sky. And they all, with their fists, grabbed the sky, and they ripped the sky open in 5 different ways, all converging in 5 different ways. And I saw just a fiery red that they exposed. And it was like that for a while. It seemed like it kind of got bigger and bigger, but it stayed like that for a while. And I'm just like, what is this? And then suddenly just a herd of horses just comes straight through the sky, straight out of the fiery redness. And that was it. It was a pretty cool picture. But yeah, that was what I saw Friday. That's all I got.